Hi, I'm Ellen from VAE, and this is Melina. Today we are going to do a tutorial on how to cut bangs for Melina. We're also going to trim up her hair to make it just a little bit shorter to give her a different look. Before we can get started, the night before, or even a few days before, we have to prepare Melina. You can see I have Melina prepared. The first thing you have to do is section out the bangs and then saturate it right at the part. The reason for this is we have to retrain her hair so that it will fall in bangs. When you receive Melina, her hair is long, about to her ankles, and parted in the center. We have to retrain the hair so it does not part in the center, that it'll stay straight. Now, one of the things that I did, in addition to just pulling your hair together with a rubber band, is I also created tension by keeping the hair pulled down straight by adding a rubber band just underneath her chest and then pulling the hair through. And this allowed me to keep tension. Additionally, I used a hairnet as think of it as like a headband that is pushed right at that part where we want her hair to fall down. Now, you don't have to use a hairnet to create your headband. You can use lace. You can use any kind of fabric that you have around, ribbon, anything that you can tie around the head just to give us a little bit of tension so that when the hair dries, it dries in the manner that we want it to dry, which is to fall forward down to the top of her brows. All right, so that's how you prep Melina. The other thing I want to notice is that I have a bowl of water. The other tools that I have is I have a wet brush. And whenever you're working with Dollfriend hair, it is recommended that you wet your brush and then brush. This allows the hair to just glide through your brush, okay? When it's dry and if it's kind of interwoven or tangled or messed up, the brush will stick and sort out, and as it sorts, there's a chance that you could break it. You could break the hair off, okay? And so if you just get it wet, get the brush wet, it will glide through your hair like silk. I'm also going to use a pair of scissors. Now, these scissors are hair cutting scissors for normal hair. The synthetic hair we have is nylon, but it works just the same. Or you could use a good pair of sewing scissors. And then I have some clips that I'm going to use to create some sections. So now that you have your tools and you've prepared your Melina, let's get started cutting her hair. Okay, so you can see that I have removed the rubber bands and the tension, and then I put the rest of Melina's hair into a ponytail so that we can make sure that we are able to just work on this one section here. All right, so I'm going to, the first thing I'm going to do is I need to take off some of this length. You see all that? We don't need all that. So in order to get to a workable amount, I'm going to take it and I'm literally going to chop it off. There you go. I know for some of you, it's like, ah! Look at all that hair. I mean, look at how beautiful this is, how it just falls. So Melina's hair is really fun. It's really beautiful. But when you cut it, you actually give Melina different looks and different personalities. And her hair is still beautiful, but it can be, beautiful while it is short as well. All right, so I'm going to kind of toggle between Melina facing me and Melina facing you so that I can get my work done. So we can see that all we did is we took off length, okay? Now, I take off length slowly. So I am going to take off my next set of length, but this time I'm going to start cutting by lifting the hair up a little bit. Okay, so you'll see there's a constant kind of process of cutting and lifting and cutting. Now I have to tell you, I am not a professional hair cutter, but I've done a lot of cutting. So I cut hair for my family. I cut hair on Dollfriends, and I have found ways that work for me. But if you are a professional and you go, oh my gosh, I would never have done that, okay? That's my disclosure. I'm not a professional, but I can get the job done, I think. Okay, so you'll find when you have Melina's hair, because it's look at how much hair she has. Okay, there's so much weight in this hair that when it's in the ponytail, she becomes a little bit more able to kind of get unbalanced. So you kind of have to rebalance her. Now notice that I'm not using any doll stands. Dollfriends do not need doll stands. They stand fine on their own. You just have to kind of learn their balance points. Okay? All right. So now you can see by lifting, whenever you lift the hair up over the head and cut over the head, you create this nice kind of framing of the face. Now, if you want your bangs just to be blunt cut straight across, then you can continue to cut them straight across without lifting them up. But I like to lift them up so that I can kind of get a framing of the face, and then I make my adjustments. Now, the hair, again, is in nylon, okay? So different than human hair, it's nylon. And so when you cut it, it has more of a blunt cut than when you cut human hair. So I'm going to show you some techniques to help you so that your blunt cut doesn't look awkward, look just blunt, that it has some natural looks to the hair. But before we get to that, let's take some more length off. Again, we want to go slowly. So I'm going to once again pull overhead, and I'm going to take a little bit more hair off. Now, no matter how many times I have cut hair or done this, I always use the same step of going little by little, because, you know, their hair does not grow back. And so we have to make sure that my whole thing is longer is always better, right? Because with longer, you can continue to adjust. All right. And so you can kind of see it's starting to shape. I'm going to use my hand here at this point to kind of just bring this down. Now you can wet cut hair. So just take Melina and douse her hair and make it wet. And with wet cut hair, it keeps, you know, the hair from kind of flying apart while you're cutting it. But it can also, you know, have another condition in which it cuts kind of in clumps. So I've done both. I'm trying to keep the hair separated here as we go. Okay, and you can see as we're working, we still have a little bit of tendency for the hair to separate right here at the middle. So we'll continue to work on that, but let's work some more on cutting these bangs. Okay. Gonna resection her hair back here. I personally like long bangs. As you can tell, my bangs are always slightly in my eyes. But for some people, that drives people crazy. And so if that's you, then cut yours differently. And if my hair being slightly in my eyes bothers you, I apologize. I'm going to do a double wrap on her hair here just to keep it from getting in my way. Now I always try not to have rubber bands too tight on Dollfriend hair so that it doesn't crease it and it doesn't damage it while you're trying to take the rubber band out. So I'm going to reset her up. All right. Now you can see that it's right here about nose length. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to take it just above the eye. Longer is better. The shorter you cut the hair, the more the hair wants to push out straight from the head, because it's sewn into the head. And when it's sewn into the head, it kind of wants to come out and then it falls down with weight. But when you cut the weight off, then it wants to, project out. And that's why we have to do things such as saturating the hair with water and using different mechanisms to kind of hold it down so that you can kind of train it. Another way to do it is using heat. Now, when you're using heat, it's important that you aren't using dry heat. So dry heat can melt. Remember, it's nylon, can melt it. So we don't want to use dry heat, so we can use wet heat. Really hot water will help set hair. I have used blow dryers. Now, this is a disclosure, okay? I've used blow dryers on very wet, saturated hair in order to heat the water that's on the hair to set it. It's something that you don't want to do unless you have experience with this. Test it. Like, for instance, all this hair that we cut, save this and use this to test different things for you to do, how to set it, what kind of heat, how can I manage it. This is how you learn the boundaries of this type of hair, okay? And I know for some people, this is not a project that you would want to take on, and that's okay. But for others, where doll crafting is a big part of your enjoyment, I encourage you to be bold and to try new things and give new looks. It's like creating your own product. Okay? All right. Enough talking. Let's get back to work. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to start taking small sections and I'm going to start bringing them up a little bit higher and working my way around. Okay? Now, I didn't do this live because I want to be able to keep the video short and not too long. And I didn't want to get too distracted in talking to other people because that's how mistakes happen. Okay, so I'll just keep working here. Okay, so we have completed Melina's new haircut. You can see we still have plenty and plenty of hair, so we can do all sorts of styles. I have her bang trainer on right now, which is that headband, so that you can see her bangs are a little bit long, but that's because I have them pressed down to keep training them. And I hope that you feel encouraged to create your own look. And I want to thank you very much for your love for Melina and all the doll friends. I'll see you next time. Bye.